thank you so much for meeting me here today. Aunt Jane should be along in a moment. I thought the Raycraft Hotel would be a wonderful place for us to meet and have tea and talk about planning this year's fundraising dance. Now you remember how successful it was last year. We raised enough money for 3 streetlights, but it is so important for us to not only keep the electricity flowing, but we need more streetlights. And I thought the more of us that got involved, the easier it would be. Many hands make light work. Now we have many things to talk about. As you know, last year we decided to model our dance, our fundraising dance, after the 1918 Red Cross dance. Although I think the 2 biggest changes that we made were very, very well received. Instead of having a buffet supper in the Raycraft Dance Hall, if you remember, we decided to have a sit-down dinner with linen and china and crystal and silver over at this hotel here. And we saw that so many people were interested because many people came from Reno and all around that we had to have several sittings. So we'll have to plan better for that this year. I want to hire Baker's 5-piece band again. I thought that they're probably the best in the area. And again, we will need every woman here in Genoa to make their own favorite recipe of candy, because we're going to pass that out. We're also perhaps going to auction off a special dish of candy, of a mixture of everyone's candy. And we have to have everyone's help. There's much food to be purchased. And there is this circulating idea that we need to name this dance, because if it was modeled after the 1918 Red Cross dance and the other dances that we have, because we have our fall dance, our harvest dance quite often, we need to find a name for it, because it appears that we will probably need to do the same fundraising dance each year. Because as the saying goes, if something's not broken, then don't fix it. And it was an easy way to make money. Look at how much we made in 1918, $255. That was at $2 a ticket, plus we sold off special pieces of the cake that Aunt Jane made with a gilded donkey inside. We can do fun things like that again. But to have hams and turkeys and mashed potatoes and pickles and relishes and everything that we have for the dinner, and then to have all these delectable desserts, we need to set a good ticket price that I think people will pay. We need to plan on how many people we can have in the hall at one time and at dinner, so there may have to be shifts per se that we'll do. And I think it worked well last year, but I think it could be better. So going back to a name for the dance, I've heard several of you say we should call it the Candy Dance. I like that idea. It makes it sound fun and light and special, and also people who have not attended the dance last year may wonder why it's called the Candy Dance, so it may generate interest. And last year, many of you got in the car with Lewis and I, and we drove all around Carson Valley selling tickets. And I think if we start earlier this year, we can do that. Perhaps some of you business women and your husbands who have businesses here in town or in Carson Valley can also sell tickets. And the earlier the better, because I think we need to plan. We need to find out how many people are coming. The band is on board, as I said. The hall can be decorated. We did such a lovely job both in 1918 and last year, and we probably should come up with a new theme. But again, we still have probably, I'm thinking, we only have 3 street lights. I'm thinking we probably need about another 9 or so, because we want the street lights to go all the way down to the courthouse, all the way down to the old Dake House, and down Genoa Lane as well. I think we would like street lights in front of our house too. And up, oh, and we will need them up Mill Street, up Carson Street, and up Nixon Street. So it's very important that we understand how much money that will cost, how we will continue to keep the electricity on. We might have to sell script aside from this. As you know, we attempted to do this to raise money in 1917 and 1918, but with the Great War, we had to shift our efforts to raising money for the boys. And now that everybody's home, everybody's well, our world is different, it is important that we keep up the fun, keep up the fundraising, do the same things we've done before that we know work and that keep us solid as a community. And one of the important things to remember is that it's not just a community fundraiser. People come from Reno, from up at the lake, from California in Markleeville, from all over Carson Valley, as far away as Dayton and Virginia City, expecting to come and have fun and dance. And so we're providing entertainment, and we're also showing off our town. And we're showing how wonderful we treat people, what wonderful businesses we have here, that we are building our town back up again. I realize that the north side of our town still shows the ravages of the 1910 fire with very few buildings. We've not been able to succeed in having Mormon Station built. I know this is something that really is disturbing to Father, and I try to think of any way I can to entice our counties, the governor, who's a good friend of ours, Governor Emmett Boyle, to spearhead a campaign for the state to give us some funds to rebuild that. So our candy dance, if that's what you want to call it, let's call it the candy dance. Our candy dance will be mainly for raising money for our street lights. We're not going to put the money towards anything else right now, but it doesn't mean we can't think of other fundraising efforts. And I understand that the Minden Fortnightly Club is experiencing the same difficulties that we are in raising money for streetlights, and they pledged to help us by attending our candy dance. And so whatever efforts they come up with for fundraising, I think we should support them as well. So I welcome any new ideas to make this fun. Perhaps there's other things we can auction off, not just the candy. These are all ideas open to everyone to come up with suggestions, but I want to make sure that we all feel and understand that this is a community effort, that we are showing off our town, and that we are responsible for the street lights and the electricity ourselves, because if we don't do it, nobody's going to do it for us. Our county is not able to donate the money to us or fund us, no more than they are able to fund Minden and the Fortnightly Club. So put on your thinking hats. Perhaps we can go over to my house and have a little party, a quilting party. I'll put some records on my phonograph, and we'll come up with something by the time evening arrives. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hear that Aunt Jane is about finished with what she was doing, so I'll meet you over at my beautiful pink Victorian, the Pink House, and we're going to plan this year's candy dance. We'll see you over there. Bye-bye.